It's obviously been a while since, we were talking to you coming off a win. It's been even longer since you've had 2 fights in a calendar year. So I guess just how's camp been? How's life been coming into this, knowing that not only you're on a win, but you're active again in the UFC?
Oh, it's how it should be, right? I fight, I win, and I fight again. Camp's been great. Life's been great. The cool thing about winning a fight is you don't feel like you have to go home and do all kinds of changes and make all these different adjustments. Yeah, adjustments need to be made, always, but it's not like I have to start over and, oh man, we got to fix what went wrong, we got to do all these things. So it's really nice. It's really nice to just know that what you're doing was the right thing, and you just stay on track and you keep building and you get stronger and stronger and stronger. And mentally, I'm at a very, very good place. I'm not back, I'm better.
Anthony was in here, and he said his mindset coming into this fight, he doesn't really care about wins and losses anymore. Just he was so frustrated from his last performance, he just wants to go in there and just punch someone. So I guess, and you also wrote on Instagram, it was a long time coming with the poster. So was that just like fight talk, like you guys have been circling each other for so long, or is there any personal issues you've had in the past, or just 2 ranked light heavyweights that are finally fighting?
Well, if I'm not mistaken, we both, so he was in the UFC, he left and then he came back. We both came back around the same time. So we've kind of been just circling around each other this whole time, aware of each other. We've had a few interactions where it was like, hey man, nice to meet you. Like, we're gonna fight one day and it's gonna be awesome, and it's just, at the end of the day, we're just 2 men trying to feed our families.
He used the phrase, like, his last win was against Vitor Petrino, and he goes, I'm not going to tell my grandkids about beating Vitor Petrino, but he said his exact quote was, a win over Dominick Reyes still matters to me. Like, that's something I'll talk about in the future. So do you feel the same about Anthony, even though where he's at his point in career, a win over Anthony Smith is still big in 2024?
Absolutely, man. I mean, it's respect. I mean, we're 2 veteran fighters who have been through a lot in this game, and we have respect for each other. I have respect for him. I know he has respect for me. He's almost a 65 vet, He's been in there with everyone as I have, Between me and him, we might have fought everybody in the UFC light heavyweight division in the last 10 years, you know what I'm saying? So it's a fight that, yeah, beating Anthony Smith feels good, right? He's not an up-and-comer, he's a name. It's not like a guy he's already established as who he is. So yeah, I do look forward to fighting Anthony and then having his name on my mantle, I guess you could say.
When he was in here, he was kind of talking about your past losses, and he said it was like when you fought Yuri is a difficult guy to fight and difficult guy to prepare for, and maybe it was just a bad decision and you got caught. And then the Ryan Spann fight, you said it looks like you did everything perfect and you just got caught, and that's just how MMA goes. If you do reflect on those losses, is that something you also kind of agree with what he's saying, like where he's coming from?
Yeah, I mean, there's different reasons for everything, yeah. With the Jury fight, I was just a freaking war, man. You look at that fight, we were just beating the crap out of each other. You could say I lost, I got knocked out. Yeah, I did. And it was a crazy, ridiculous finish. Knockout of the year, in my opinion. But we were putting it on each other. I hurt him multiple times. I knocked him out at one point in that fight. It was, that was fun. But my whole mentality going into that fight was, hey, I want to bleed. And as a fighter, that's not a great idea to go in a fight saying, I want to bleed, right? Like, I was at a point in my life where I just had something to prove to myself, where I just wanted to go out there and bleed and throw bombs and hit each other with everything I had. I had a great game plan. I started in the fight, I was doing great. And then once the bullets started flying, I was like, yeah, let's go. I started loving the violence too much in that fight. Then against Spann, there was all kinds of different factors that led to that. And I was doing the right things for the most part, but I wasn't there mentally. I switched camps to train with Alex Pereira and Glover in Connecticut, my first time even being out there. And it was a whole experience just being out there. And I was searching for something that I already had inside of me. So when you're searching for something you already have and you're looking for it, you're not going to find it. It took me losing that fight to realize that everything I have is here, right, at home with my team that I train with and inside of me. So yeah, I did get caught in that fight, but I wasn't in the right mental space anyway. There's different factors that go into a fight. But yeah, I got caught by Span for sure. I impaled my face on his punch. Like, I literally ran into his fist, which is not a good idea. And I paid for it, but I learned the lessons, you know, patience, you know, range, doing things right. I just wanted it to be over. In that fight, I just wanted it to be over. I just wanted, all right, either you're going down or I'm going down, and I'm just gonna come at you with everything I got right now. And that's not a correct approach on the highest level against some of the most dangerous men on the planet. But I learned my lesson, you know, and I'm here now. And I came back against Jacoby, and I was patient, I was smart, I was sharp, I was a veteran. I'm a veteran now. And cool thing about it is I didn't have to go through 40 fights to figure these things out. It's, you know, 3 losses and against the top guys in the world. And I got to learn these lessons, and now I'm here, and I feel really, really, really good. I'm ready to keep climbing.
Well, given that you just said, you know, you learned your lesson, and Anthony Smith was in here, and, you know, he said he just wants to go out there and punch someone. What are you expecting on Saturday when you guys finally do step into the octagon?
I'm expecting to win. That's it. And I don't care how it happens, but I'm expecting to win. I can sympathize with a lot that Anthony's going through right now, but not my chair, not my problem. Like, I got to handle my business for me and my family, and however it all falls out or lays out, however God decides it's going to go is how it's going to go. But I've turned over every single stone. I've done everything I need to do for this fight, and I'm extremely prepared, extremely ready. I've studied so much. You know, there's a lot to study, and I've really broken everything down and really taken my time and really sat down with my coaches and my team, and I know it sounds crazy, but I know how it's going to go down. I'm not going to tell you guys, but I know.
Just last one for me. He's been training a lot with Jamal Hill to prepare for you, like a long, rangy southpaw that has a lot of power with a lot of accuracy. Have you had to bring in anyone specific to prep for Anthony?
No, man. Just like Jacoby, it's my team. The beautiful thing about my team, man, is I got guys that are selfless, right? They don't have these guys I train with don't train like, oh, I'm gonna beat Dom as me. Right? No, the guys I train with never act like themselves. They do exactly what I need them to do. I need you to be Anthony Smith. I need you to be Dustin Jacoby. I need you to be John Jones. And they do an excellent job of imitating my opponents and giving me the looks necessary to show up and have reactions without thinking at all.
Dominick, you're one of the best players in Stony Brook football history. Have any specific football techniques helped you in your MMA career?
Oh, absolutely. Mainly film study, going back to the film study.
And
I don't know if many of you have been in a college football film study. It's intense, man. 2 seconds, coach pauses it, rewinds it. 5 seconds, coach pauses it, rewinds it. Goes back over and over and over. What the F is this? Look at your stance. Look at your pad level. Look at your angle. Why is your foot doing that? What are you doing here? And it's the littlest, minutest things that you wouldn't even think. Like, that looks good. What's up with this? You know, and you learn how to really, really critique yourself and critique your opponents and critique the little things that nobody thinks about that they don't think matters. But it's all the little things that make the big picture. And that's, you know, in the college football level, you make one mistake and it's a touchdown at DB, right? If I don't keep inside leverage, it's a touchdown. Or if I take a step and he fakes and I don't open my hips properly, I'm burnt, right? So it's all little details that matter, and it's at a really, really high speed. So that really translates really well to fighting with attention to detail and perfecting the little things.
thank you for the answer. And what's your greatest memory at Stony Brook?
Oh, greatest memory. First playoff game in Stony Brook football history. We're playing Albany, our rival. We're on the 3-yard line. We're on defense. They're on our 3-yard line. It's third down, fourth quarter. I think 2 minutes left in the game. They run a play action, boot to my side of the field. I'm underneath the tight end. My cornerback tips the ball, and I pick it off in the back of the end zone and toe tap, and we win our very first playoff game in school history, and I get an interception. That's my fondest memory.
Dominick, over here to your left. Right here. You mentioned looking for something inside of yourself mentally. When preparing for Anthony, did you have to go into any deep spot mentally during this camp, given how much you'd like to have a name like his on your resume?
Honestly, the whole camp it's a roller coaster, man. Some days you feel like freaking, this is gonna be light work, and then the next day you're like, oh man, I don't know. And the next day you feel great. So the whole camp is a mental battle to try to stay even keel. I mean, that's like the main thing that I've learned throughout my career is stay even keel. Don't try to get too high, don't try to get too low. But yeah, as I'm training, as I'm pushing myself, you always have to find that place that makes it all worth it for you, because it's uncomfortable. You know, you're sweating more than you've sweated. You're bleeding. You feel your heartbeat in your eyes. You're super freaking tired sometimes, and in order to keep going, in order to get better, you have to dig and find that place. And my motivation to fight Anthony is, I want to win, man. I just want to win. There's nothing better than winning, and there's nothing worse than losing. I mean, I'm sure everyone in this room probably feels the same way. But yeah, it's an extreme motivation to win and then be great, you know. And my motivation, I want to be champion, you know. I'm not just fighting to fight. I'm fighting to be champion still, you know. I feel like I'm getting in my athletic prime. I'm 34 years old, so I feel great. I feel great.
And are there any significant differences in terms of like the atmosphere and vibes of this camp, given it's the first one in a while where you're coming off of a big win?
No, I mean, it was just keep it rolling, keep showing up every day, keep doing the work, keep digging, keep building. The cool thing is, this is the first time in 5 years that I didn't have to get a surgery after the fight. So like, I didn't have to sit out for 4 or 6 months not training at all. It was straight back into training. So I feel great.
Hey, Dominic, over here.
There you are.
Obviously, when you go through losses in a row, it could be very discouraging, but also earlier this year, you talked about dealing with the blood clots, which obviously a medical situation like that, completely different. Can you just talk about just the difference of having to overcome that, recover from that, to get to that point where you were when you got the win against Jacoby?
Well, the cool thing about that, as terrible as it was, it made me appreciate every moment. It made me appreciate just living. So when you have gratitude, things become a lot easier. When you could wake up and just be grateful that you're here. And I'm grateful that I'm going to the gym today. I'm grateful that I have to get beat up today, you know, in training, right? I'm grateful that I have to be there. It makes things a lot easier, and it makes you able to work that much harder. So God's lessons come in very different ways, and I'm grateful for that. In the end of the day, I'm grateful for what happened.
Hey Dom, just one from me. There was a very positive reaction online to your last win. A lot of people seemed very happy to see you finally get back in the win column. Just how does it feel for you to see everyone's reaction to that?
It's awesome. I mean, I'm a professional athlete. I'm a fighter. I give everything to this sport. I've given everything to the sport. I think the fans could see that I've given everything. And it always didn't turn out my way, but no matter what, I show up and still give it my all. Whether, you know, whatever the circumstances are, I'm still here and I'm still fighting. You fall down, you get back up. You fall down, you get back up. And I think it's just a testament to the human spirit. And I think that's where the fans could relate to. All right. Thank you, guys.